final days and years of Andrew Ryan's reign in Rapture. And I say reign, I say that lightly because, he did some things that I don't agree with. He when he found out that Frank Fontaine had basically gotten a hold of Jasmine Jolene because Andrew Ryan had gotten her pregnant, and she was afraid to tell Andrew Ryan, and she needed the money because she was afraid to ask him. And he probably would have given it to her if he asked her. And he probably would have loved to have a kid with her, but obviously they took the embryo from her and they made who they did in the main game, which obviously was the downfall of Andrew Ryan. And he murdered her when he found out that she had done that. And nobody ever got to her body. Like, if it's still there when you go there in the game, it's still there, and you see a flashback of what happened. That is really cold, and he's not sorry for it either. But he did love Rapture, and he did also what he did. He locked himself in asbestos, which was, he had no choice, and I would have done the same thing. Of course, I wouldn't have murdered Jasmine Jolene because that's not who I am. But Andrew Ryan did what he thought was best. And like I said, if he hadn't been in control of even though whatever was left to actually salvage, the city would have probably collapsed even quicker. So he did prevent a lot of it from, he sealed off all the entrances to the bathyspheres. He did a lot of things. He declared martial law in like Apollo Square and a lot of different areas. And a lot of people thought that was a bad thing, but he was doing it to maintain whatever of level of civil normalcy there was. But by 1959 and really into early 1960, it was too late for that. And he was just, you go in the city when you first get there in the game, and all the shutters are closed in the windows. So he was really just trying to isolate everything and just keep it, unlock and key, because some of the control he had over the splicers was very limited, but he could use them against enemies that he wanted to. And he definitely didn't do that. And that was, one of the things he didn't want to do because he took away free will, but they didn't really have free will. They were too far gone for that. So, yeah.